Welcome for our session with Jeremy. So I'm very glad to be today on stage with Jeremy Jack, Senior Vice President of Sportradar, of Data Insights, at Sportradar. I'm Nicolas Versin. I'm Chief Product Officer at DataGalaxy. And Jeremy is going to share today his nice journey with us on how to actually deploy governance that people use, that deliver value, and and that's the whole point. How we build something that is really getting adopted by people. So we met with Jeremy a year ago here right now. So that's I'm really happy to share a stage with him today. 1 minute on DataGalaxy. So we're a software vendor. We have an end-to-end value governance platform. So what do we mean by that? Is that metadata or governance is not about technology. It's really about how do we actually align people and make sure that we use that to deliver value within the organization. So making sure that how we help you build an automated catalog, how we help you deploy governance, how you can build and deploy data and AI products, and how you make sure you align all of that with your strategy to actually deliver value and actually engage people within your organization. So thank you again for being here, and I leave the floor to Jeremy.
Thank you. Thanks, Nicolas. Before I get started, does anybody know what Sportradar is? Has anybody heard of Sportradar? A few people. Okay. So just give you a context of what Sportradar is and what we do. If you're watching a sporting game and you see the top left-hand corner, possession, 59%, 41%, 3 shots on goals, all those analytics around sports, that is predominantly us. So what we do, we sign with a lot of the federations, and what we do is we monetize their data. And what we do is we put scouts in venues, scouts, or let's call them sports journalists. And what they're doing is they're capturing that data in real time. Now, what we do is we capture that data and then we provide data products off the top of that. Our 3 core products is live data. So this is where we stream the data through to media companies or to bookmakers. Focus on media companies to start off with. When you hear commentators like Gary Lineker talking about this is his 56th appearance or 59 assists in the last 2 games, that is us providing them that information. And any analytics that you see at the halftime pitch or up in the top left-hand corners, we provide that. With bookmakers, we're telling bookmakers how quickly a goal has been scored and that now they need to shut down their markets. We also tell bookmakers what are the markets they should be offering, how many corners, how many throw-ins, and the odds that they should be offering to their clients. The point to bear in mind here is that they do offer their own small tweaks on those analytics, okay, on those odds. But we provide all of that information out to them. That's the one side of it, all right? Odds is the second option. The third is if you're placing a bet with a bookmaker, more likely that is coming through to us. So what we're doing is we're taking all those markets from all the different bookmakers and we're trading it on behalf of those bookmakers. So we'll be saying, someone's placing a bet, yes, on this bookmaker website. We'll accept the bet on behalf of that bookmaker. They're also trading on another bookmaker. We'll accept it on their side. Actually, this is a coach from another team. There's an integrity problem here. Let's flag that. It could be match fixing. Send it off to the regulators. So those are the 3 core products we offer. Now, to do that, we're processing 1 terabyte of data a day. That works out to being about 50 trillion rows a day. Okay, so it's a large volumes of data coming through. And it's a global entity, so from Australia through to the UK, 150 milliseconds to get stuff moved around. But what we're here today to do is talk about data governance. Now, data volumes is one side of it, right? The other side of it is how do we govern that? How do we market that? So what I wanted to start off with is Big Data London last year. This is where I met DataGalaxy. And it's interesting to say how quickly we've moved from meeting DataGalaxy all the way through to them becoming part of our company, all right? Within a year, we were able to very quickly go through the negotiations and get through onboarding. Now, what onboarding involved was we were looking at 3 core data sources. One, Salesforce. We needed to pull all our Salesforce data into DBT, into NiFi, into Redshift, and then through into our reporting solution. Now, the main reason for this onboarding was to prove the lineage all the way through. Okay, we got that working in 3 months. Now, I just have to mention that I'm not somebody who writes Google reviews or comments on anybody's work, but here I have to say that it's been incredibly impressive, the work that DataGalaxy have put through. In the world of AI, the human element cannot be underestimated, right? I am speaking to these people on a daily basis, no, so not daily, weekly basis now. It was daily to start off with, but now it's on a weekly basis. If there's any incident that comes up, I get a real person on the end of the call. I don't need to go into a large ticketing system dealing with a black box and not knowing when that result will come out. So the big thing behind this is not just the product, but also the people that are backing that product. So I'm pretty pleased with this adoption. 3 months, it was a very quick turnaround, right? Going forward from here, we're looking to scale this out. We've got 50 data sources that we're looking to bring in. Now, the big point behind this is right now we just focused on our reporting solutions, Redshift primarily, right? But what we need to do is we need to expand that to cover every one of our source systems. The reason why we need to cover every one of our source systems is because we've only integrated the valuable data, or the data we feel is valuable at this point, right? The point with DataGalaxy is once we've got this onto all our source systems, we can find those nuggets of valuable information which have been left behind, right? And that's the main reason for our data governance tool. Okay, we've got 40 producers. Now, the question around producers and consumers is very important to us. We're continually having issues with lineage where someone makes an upstream break and then all of a sudden solutions downstream are all breaking as well, all right? So the fact that we were able to put this full lineage in place and we can able to build data contracts between producers and consumers, any upstream change will very quickly be reflected downstream and we can notify everyone of this change. Right. Okay, the biggest problem that we're facing at Sportradar. The first one is a single source of truth, and I'm sure a lot of you have come across this. You'll go into a meeting and people start using business jargon in different ways. If you think about the sporting world, you've got a match, you've got a fixture, you've got an event, you've got a race. The definition is all the same. It's actually an event. I was in a meeting about 6 months ago where we were talking about the number of events we were processing. Coming out of that meeting, I asked the security person, were you aware we were talking about sporting events and not security events? And he goes, no. I thought we were talking about a security event. It's like, okay, fine, we need to go back to that business definition. So to get the whole business onto one business glossary is incredibly important. And I think this is also going to play into our bigger strategy further down the line. Ambiguity around definitions. Now, this is incredibly important because, especially when you're dealing with metrics, we have some teams that will report metrics, the same metric in a slightly different way to another team, right? We need to understand what are you excluding, what are you including. We need one point that's visible to everyone. And this is the repository that everybody can go back to and reference and say, actually, if I'm going to calculate that metric, that's how I'm doing it. Not only that, if it's going to change, it gets updated. There's one owner, and that one owner controls it throughout the whole business. The way we're operating is we're creating data models, and from that data model that we reference by up to 5,000 different reports. One change to that metric, one business owner changes that definition, it can be reflected across all different reports. Okay. Awareness. The big thing behind this is making the business accountable. Very quickly, what we've run into is people producing data and saying, I'll give it away to the world. And then 6 months on the line, we don't know who's owned that data anymore because people have changed, roles have moved on. So again, bringing that all to the service and letting people understand if there's something wrong, this is the person to speak to. Go to this person, get the right correction, and then we move on from there. Okay? Next one was lack of clarity. When we start talking about revenue, we have probably about 50 different data sources where we're collecting revenue data. Right? The question goes, which source is producing this bespoke revenue number, right? And providing that lineage all the way back to that data owner. Right? Incredibly important for us and stuff we need to work out going forward. Okay. The high-level design. Now, this is what we're aiming for, and this is where we're heading. As I mentioned, AI plays into everything. We've chosen to go with Copilot at the moment. The big thing about Copilot is we need to make sure the definitions are correct. So the starting point is if someone's going to ask for what is the revenue of a fixed odds, right? It knows to go to DataGalaxy to pull what that definition is and who's the owner of it. It's not that it's going off to the web and deriving its own version of that. So that's the big driver behind using AI for that. Now, everything from our small databases where we're scraping websites to our main infrastructure being Redshift, all of that is going through DataGalaxy, and we're building out a full view of what that looks like. Okay. Anything more I say on that? No.
I think one of the maybe I don't know if you want to point out on what's your plan, to extend and to basically extend the coverage of your data sources.
So
yeah, nice.
On our corporate systems, right, we have a lot of these which are not integrated as yet, right? And that's because it hasn't been seen valuable. So although Jira, as an example, would be integrated, we'd have a lot of smaller program management tools which have not been integrated. There's a lot of good value in there. We will eventually be expanding that out and putting those connectors on all the source systems all the way through. There's also a lot of new tools that get generated. We build our own bespoke tooling. Very quickly, a tool gets spun up and we don't know about the data because it's going through a whole different other workflow processes. What we need to do is we need to bring that back and put that all onto DataGalaxy so we know it's valuable. Okay. External sources, we're always bringing in more and more sources, so we need to monetize that as well. Okay. So these are the goals we're chasing at the moment. Right? We went live halfway through this year, and by June next year, these are the 3 main goals we need to chase. All right? Business units using governed data assets. Right? This is a big one for us. We need to know what is valuable and what is going to be governed and who's looking after that. Okay. Data sets and quality scores. I'm sure all of you are aware of quality issues. As we're moving more and more into the world of AI, quality is becoming more and more important. This is where we're going to need to track all of that information. So again, DataGalaxy will be the tool that we'll be using as the first source to track all our data quality scores. Critical data assets assigned to data stewards. This is educating the business to say that they are accountable for the data that they're processing. Right? The rules, the regulations, the qualities, all of that is a full-time role. You guys need to make sure you produce the data, you're responsible for it. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeremy. So as you've seen, I'm quite impressed with that focus on not just deploying a tech stack and just governance, but really being laser focused on how does that actually help the business line, help people to deliver value, and how the pace of being able to deploy things and adopt is critical for you. I think we are almost there. I just wanted to finish with some outlooks, and that's something also we've been discussing with Jeremy on what's coming next. Today we've been focusing on deploying the core capabilities, which is the cataloging, business glossary, and lineage capabilities, basically to have the first layer of governance. We have a broader value proposition with DataGalaxy, including our strategy cockpit, which is a way to even further the link between what are the strategic business objectives, what are the different initiatives, what are the use cases, and how do we connect that to governance and to different data products. And I think that's something that is on the roadmap for next month for you.
Yep.
We also have a shiny new governance hub where we go even deeper on defining the different policies, monitors, and rules in place to make sure that we can capture more details and automate things around governance. And finally, for those of you who are working around the data product approach, so I know Sportradar have data products at core because this is what they sell and deliver, but also internally, make sure that we support the end-to-end product management lifecycle from capturing product demands, ideas, framing products, and then exposing them within the marketplace and managing all the, let's say, trustability and discoverability of them. I don't know if you have any last word, Jeremy?
Well, the one thing that I'm particularly interested in these 3 modules is the product marketplace. This comes back to signing data contracts between producers and consumers. If we have this marketplace ready, and this is what we're testing out at the moment, we produce these marketplace, we can have any consumer coming along, signing an agreement with the producer, and that contract will be binding. And this will be the place where we'll be governing those contracts, making sure that data is updated on a regular basis, security is in place, and the fact that we have a regular cadence.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. If you have any question, we still have a few minutes left, so you're very welcome to ask your question live now. We'll both be at the DataGalaxy booth for the next hour, let's say, basically, so feel free to come, have a chat with Jeremy, have a chat with us, have a demo. We're here for that, so thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Any question?
Okay.
No questions? Don't be shy. Oh, there is one here. Okay.
Hi there. I noticed at the end one of your metrics was about data stewardship. I wanted to ask how easy has it been for you to find data stewards who are willing to take that in the organization?
Great question.
Good question.
Painful. Straight answer is painful. I think data governance is one of those underestimated services. There's no real revenue driving behind it. It's seen as a cost center more than anything else. And when budgets are getting cut, it's the first place they want to look at cutting those budgets. Convincing the business that stewardship is important is not always easy. People see it as an extra overhead, and it's something you have to do on top of their day-to-day duties. All right? It's a tough job to sell it. All right? I can't say I'm massively successful in this. We have developed a good culture behind that we need to take our data very seriously. So there are more and more people that are interested in this. A lot of people are seeing this as the next step up, so they'll take it as a stewardship to move out of their product ownership roles and move more in towards data management. And that's basically the way we're pitching it at the moment. Thanks for the question.
Any other question? No? Okay. Thank you so much, and enjoy the event, and talk to you later.
Thank you, everyone.